You're programmed not to think rich. You're programmed to think poorly. Well, no, you're programmed to think poor. I don't want to say poorly. I know think poorly is proper grammar, but in that case, when I say thinking poorly, that just means that your thinking itself is just like ill. It's just like not well. I'm literally meaning like the filter that you have on life is poor. Oh man, come on, Charming. The filter that you have on life is poor. I'm gonna cover up my face a little bit because I know I'm hitting a few people. The filter, the way you see life is poor. You see life like a poor person would. You see life like somebody who's unsuccessful would see life. Right? You hear things and automatically it filters through to the other side of your ear, goes straight out the other side, and all you heard was $5 million. Yep, I can never get $5 million. Like, how many of you, when I said $8 million to start retirement, already filtered that straight out? If you did, you have a poor mind. You're programmed to think poor. Right? And I'm not the kind of person that sits here and says, like, oh, you, like I said in the beginning, you can do it. You got it. Anybody can make $8 million. No. I already said it. In order to do that, you got to do $8 million work that is going to be worth $8 million for the next until you're 65 or until you retire or whatever the case is. You got to do that work. You're going to have to. There's no other option. You need to be disciplined. There's no other option. But too many of you are not wanting to be disciplined. Too many of you don't want to elevate your thinking and increase your identity, because that means you're going to have to do that work, right? So I want to talk about like how you got programmed to think poor, right? So I said this on LinkedIn, and if you're not following me on LinkedIn, feel very free. I love getting a chance to be able to share my information, knowledge over there. I haven't been doing it for too long, but I'm doing it now. So, but how many times have you heard, do you have McDonald's money? McDonald's. Or money doesn't grow on trees. Maybe you got to the point where you were like, where you have money in the bank and somebody asks you for like a couple dollars and you're like, oh, I don't have any money. Or like all the time, not to say that like you're a bad person for lying, but like you've heard those kind of things growing up. You've done those kind of things as you grew up. And that's just because strictly of what you were around. And I'm not to say that your parents are like at fault for it, but there are environmental factors, right? There's three different ways that your brain is programmed to think poor, all right? The first is verbal programming. The second is parental modeling. And the third are your specific experiences, all right? And don't worry, I'm going to get into like some of the stuff, but the easiest is verbal programming. Verbal programming, you hear it all the time. Money doesn't grow on trees. We don't have enough money for this. Money this. Like, that's getting you already set in your brain to just think, well, money doesn't grow on trees. Well, it's not easy for me to get money. Right? I gotta do the extremely extraordinary in order to get enough money. Right? Like that's the way your brain starts to think. Right? Retirement, like stop working. How am I going to make money when I stop working? Right? Your brain is wired like that verbal programming is wired to tell you that you have to work in order to make money. Already at the very beginning, right? I showed you 4 ways to make money. 4 ways to make money. Right? If you're employed, yeah. Because you're trading your time for money. So you have to work. If you're self-employed, yeah, because you're trading your time for money, so you have to work. But if you have a system, or if you're an investor, or you're investing into systems, you're investing into things, then no, you don't have to work to make money. So how do you get to that point, right? I mean, there's so many different ways that your brain is wired to keep you poor that you don't even hear or see or even want to understand that there are other ways that the rich, the wealthy, the successful people are not poor. Many different ways out there. And a lot of times you hear it and you block it out. I mean, that was me. That was me once upon a time where I would hear, and again, remember, we are qualified to help the people we once were, right? I'm qualified to help you because I was once there. Before, I have my retirement plan built out, and looking at my retirement plan, I think it's about I'll be able to retire taking about $333,000 a year in retirement. If you would have told me even 3 years ago, that I would have a dedicated retirement plan that I'm going to be able to take out $333,000 a year in retire. How much money is that I'm going to be able to take out? That's $13 million that I'm going to have, that I'm going to pull out from retirement. If you would have told me 3 years ago that, hey, Charming, pretty soon you're going to set up a retirement plan. And with that, not only are you going to have a really good strategy, like financial strategy in place, but also you're going to take out a total of $13 million in retirement. If you would have told me that, I would have been like, no, that's not even, I don't even have the money to do that. I don't even know what to do with that money. I don't even know how I would get to that point of having that much money to retire with in the first place. And so my brain would have thought about those three things so quickly that I wouldn't even have the time to realize that I just filtered that out, right? Because my thinking was so poor, right? I was so and the sad part is, you know how hard it is to challenge when you're automatically wired to think a certain way? We all know it, right? We all know it. We do those daily affirmations. We stand in the mirror. You are beautiful. You are kind. You are loved. You are lovable. People enjoy you. You enjoy people. The world is not here to hurt you. We have all given ourselves those daily affirmations to remind ourselves and push ourselves, right? And that's because we get aware that our thinking is negative, right? We get aware that the filter of which we see and hear life is negative. We get aware of it. And so I'm trying to help you get aware right now of what it means and what it sounds like and what it looks like to hear, yeah, you can retire with taking out $13 million, $333,000 a year. I'm trying to get you aware that your thinking is poor. Oh man, I'm going to help somebody out today. I don't know who I'm going to help out, but I'm going to help out somebody today to start to challenge that, right? Now, I'm not a therapist by any means. You might say like a financial therapist or leadership therapist, business ownership therapist, whatever. You can say that. But the second you start to think that, if you're truly sitting there thinking, no, that could not be me, you're thinking poor. Start challenging that. And say, well, why could it be me? Just one, flip the thinking, and then two, change the thinking into a question. So let's say, oh no, Charming, yeah, no, I couldn't retire making making over $300,000 a year. Flip it. First step. Well, I could retire making $330,000 a year. Next, ask yourself a question. Well, why can I retire making $330,000 a year? Empowerment, brother and sister. Empowerment, right? And now you ask yourself that question. Well, how can I? Why can I? Why am I able to retire making that much money? Well, I mean, yeah, I might not be able to now, but I'm able to because I'm a hard worker, because I'm dedicated, because I'm going to change my family's last name forever and have generational wealth forever. That's why I'm able to, because I have the desire and the passion to, because I'm a hard worker and I'm loyal to anything I start, right? How am I able to? I'm not sure how just yet, but I do know that I can figure it out. I do know that there's somebody that is going to help me out. Oh, but I don't have enough time. You do have enough time. Why do I have enough time? Yeah, it might be a little bit harder because you probably have less time, right, than somebody like me, right? I definitely have less time than like an 18-year-old, right? I was working with an 18-year-old on helping him with his retirement plan. He'll be able to take out 400 and something $1,000 a year. I was helping a business owner. He's going to be able to retire with taking, $600,000 a year in retirement. And I can promise you that before I could even get them to, like, if I was working with them, if I was working with them and immediately showed them and talked to them about that, like, their poor filter would have filtered it automatically, and they would never believe that they're able to. But I had to help them first, like before anything financially. I have to help you first, help you develop yourself, help you change your mind, right? And that's the biggest thing, and that's what a lot of people are missing nowadays, is that your thinking is just poor itself. I'm gonna help somebody out today. So, two reasons so far why you're still poor and why you're not thinking rich, or why you're not thinking successfully, right? You're not developing, right? Your income and your value can only grow to the extent that you do, right? I mean, you can become the number one, like, person in the world for whatever, and if you become the number one, personal development coach in the world, your income is going to reflect because you've grown so much. Now, let's say that you come number one and you stay right where you are, your income is going to reflect, right? So the second thing is your thinking is just poor, right? You're not programmed to think rich.